Okay, so I am not going to talk about the 100-point drop that we had from our previous trade because I want to break this down for you so that you can apply it right now. You don't need much training, you just need to understand how to do this. In fact, I have had a handful of emails just in the last 2 days since Friday. So today is Monday, January 27th. Actually, it's probably early in the morning since I tend to do these early in the morning. But anyways, Friday, $37,000 from one individual, several thousand from other people doing what I'm about to show you. And I've already gone over it, so it's very simple. And if you've been watching my videos, you know exactly how to do this. And then another trader, several thousand multiple times today. And then I had two other emails just like that. So, that saying, buy low, sell high. Well, duh. Buy Apple when it first starts and hold it for a million years and sell it when it's high. But see, what you have to understand is how the markets actually work. And how the markets actually work is they are constantly fluid. They're constantly breaking highs and they're constantly breaking lows, and we can see this on a daily basis. Now this, what you see on your screen here is actually perfect, because if you look at it, you think, wow, that's crap, because we're just going back and forth on this key turns line. And by the way, if you're not up to speed, this orange and white key turns line, this is the third key turns line. I just released the new version of the key turns indicator. I added two additional lines. These are both right here. This is the number 2, and then our original one. Oh, actually, you know what? On this day, which was Monday, the January 27th, it's actually there as well. They were the same price. So we basically treat these the same. We are going to be short below it, long above it, short below it. So it doesn't matter where the price is at. We just want to be long above and short below. And sure, it wasn't as beautiful as the prior day or other days, but the important thing to understand is the strategy still applies. And what that strategy is very simple. This is a 5-minute chart, and I normally like to look at this on a 15-minute chart, but I wanted to kind of scale it back a little bit so you can kind of see the flow of market movement. Okay, so initially when you start doing this, you need to have some sort of development. So I have had a few questions. Where do I get in? Where do I enter the market? The short, smart aleck answer is, for me is, well, enter wherever you want to. But to give you a specific answer, what I would tell you specifically is there's two different ways to do this. Well, actually not two different ways, but there's a couple different places to enter is the better language that I should use for that. So when I say buy above, sell below, I literally mean buy above, sell below. So if we're going to be, coming down here, we're long above here. Now, on a 1-minute chart, there was a little bit of push up here, but that's besides the point. That's a one instance that it doesn't really even matter. So I want to be long above this and I want to be short below this. If we start falling below, I'm instantly reversing my position. I'm not going to just hold on to it, like a situation like this. We're coming down here, we go to the tick. I just got to hold on to this because we're above it. And then, nope, I got to hold on to it. Nope, no, absolutely not. You're going to reverse the position and go the other way. Now, the reason why I say this is perfect is because this is imperfect visually. But it's actually perfect because I want to show you how to do what these people have done the last couple days, pulling out thousands and even tens of thousands in a day. And anyone can do this. It doesn't matter if you've totally failed for the last 20 years trying to figure this out. It's not difficult. You just have to understand it, practice it, ideally on a simulation account. And then once you get good at it, what I would say is, now that the micros are available, might as well trade the micros. It's 10 times less the E-mini value. And then when you get good at that, bump it up to the regular E-minis. There's no reason to blow capital as you're trying to build an account and figure things out. But that's my opinion. You can do whatever you want to do. So what we want to do is we want to use this in our favor. Okay, so we know to be long above and short below, but what happens when we got this kind of activity? Well, number one, you do have to realize this is overnight. This is the Globex session, and the Globex can do this. We don't always have big runs. During Globex, we can. We've had plenty, and we will have plenty more, but we don't always have that. So what we want to do is we want to identify market development and simply look at where did this drop turn around and go up? Well, obviously right here. It turned around up here. Where on this push up, where did it turn around and go down? Well, obviously right here. We have this one green candle here, and this is a 5-minute chart, by the way. Every candle is a 5 minutes. Come here and we push up. So we kind of have down, up, down, up, down, and then a greater push up. Okay, so I'm not going to take the time to put a bunch of lines in. I've gone over that in prior videos, so you're just going to have to follow along very closely with what I'm telling you so that you can visually see this as I'm doing it instead of taking 27 minutes to put a bunch of lines in here. So now that I have, okay, I can see what's happening, the market's moving, we have a low here, we have a high here, it's pushing, okay. So I want to maybe put a line here and a line here across, right? So that identifies this high and low, this initial period, okay? Now I have one here, and I know I have one here because I can see that we've dropped. And in real time, this is what you're doing. You're doing this in real time. And the reason why I want to put one here is because I want to buy the high. We call it a breakout. There's two types of breakouts. We either are going to break out upwards or we're going to break down downwards. So we typically will call when the market is breaking down a breakdown and when it's breaking up a breakout. Some traders call them both a breakout just to simplify the term. Whatever you want to call it, it doesn't really matter. I want to be buying when this high is broken. Why? Well, there's two reasons for us. One, it would mean that we're above the key terms level, and number two, there's a likelihood that we'll continue higher if we break this high. Now, sure, there's instances where we have quote-unquote double tops and double bottoms. But have you done the statistics? Have you done the statistics of yourself, your own trading, where you, as I mentioned in my email, you bought the low and you sold the high? Have you done statistics? I think you will be shocked at how maybe poor of a job you've done at that. And this is not an insult to you. This is just across the board, because what we tend to do as traders is get perfect entries. I've got to get this low and I've got to get out here, and then I got to sell again and get out here, and I got to buy this low and then sell this high. And that tends to be where a lot of traders gravitate. They tend to feel like they have to get in here and they have to get in here. And of course, all that's hindsight. What we do is we trade in real time right now what the market's doing. And so what we want to do is create a game that we can easily win. I did not say create a game where we can win every single 100% of our trades. I said we want to create a game that we can easily win. Okay, and one way to do that is by doing what I'm walking you through. So I have a line here, a horizontal line. I want to be long. So if we look to the right, the price is 3262.5. I want to be long at 3262.75. Okay, boom, I'm in. Market order, limit order, whatever you want to do. It doesn't really matter. Okay. You technically could be long here as well. We're right at that price. We don't know that this is going to do this yet. We do know that we want to be short below this. So as price approaches here, I want to be short at that white line, which is the tipping point to the downside. And it did drop about a point or so, but we obviously had a lot more buying pressure to propel us upwards. So you could technically do either. You could sell it or you could buy it. The reason why you could buy it is because it's technically a breakout off of this high. But see, we have this one that we really need to get past. Actually, all three of these. You see that? But you could also sell it, short it, because we are coming up to the key turns price, and we know that statistically, if we look back in the history of time, that we're probably going to have some resistance there. Well, markets are a little bit erratic because of everything that's going on. People are freaking out because of this coronavirus, which honestly I think it's hilarious. Not that people are dying, getting sick, but it's funny to me how the markets move emotionally. So we can do that, but we have technically two breakouts here, one here and one here, because we came up here, we dropped, we came up here, we dropped, and now we're moving. Okay, so we can try it. If you do go short here, you better get long if we break above this, and at very worst case this one, because we know that the likelihood of it continuing is probably pretty good. Why? Well, number one, it's a breakout. Number two, we're above the key turns price. Get whatever you can take out of that, and we repeat the process over and over and over all day long. And this is how these people have been pulling out thousands and even tens of thousands. In fact, I had an email because I taught you guys this. If you watch my videos, I've actually taught you how to do this over last week. So last week, if I pull up my calendar here, we're talking about the videos. If you go to my feed, they were going to be any video posted between what did I start that? Like the 19th through all of last week. So the 19th through the 25th of January 2020. They're all time and date stamped. I did them, in real time. And I had a couple people, different people that, they didn't know each other. They actually applied that strategy and actually made, and I don't recommend this, they made real money, and they happen to have made thousands of dollars on the days that they tried what I'm showing you. And, obviously they now own this tool. This is awesome. I tried that. I was, one of them said I was nervous to do it because, it's something new. They did it and it worked. Well, obviously it worked because this is how the markets flow. And so anyways, that's it. So we just keep going along. So we have with this big push up here, we don't have any pullback yet. Nothing like, like these red candles or even this one red candle. It doesn't happen until here. So what do? We have this low, we draw a line. Why? Well, now we're going to look for breakdowns, okay? It's just a continuous process. We can do technically 24 hours as long as the market's open. Same thing with here. We kind of run out of steam here. Remember our original line was drawn up here. Again, I didn't do it. You have to kind of keep track of these lines in your head as I'm walking you through this. Okay, we have this. We have to break this high. So if I'm going to trade this breakout here, I need to target something up in here because we've got to break through this high. If we don't, and we come back down, and you see 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and then if we keep going 30, 35, 40 minutes later, we break this low right here. And if I'm long here, time to get the heck out. Why? Because we had 40 minutes of this of this support that did not propel us higher. Okay, what I'm telling you right this moment, this just comes with experience. Okay, and every single one of you can repeat what I'm saying as you do this day in and day out. Okay, now do I have a bunch of moving averages and MACDs and crap on my chart? No, I don't. If you know me, I hate lagging indicators. They absolutely serve no one. Unless you're looking like long term and you need to have an idea of, for projections, etc., they can be useful. For me personally, in the 25 years now that I've been doing this, they're useless to me. I want to make money right now. I don't want to wait. I don't want anything lagging telling me what happened in the past. If I want to do that, I can drive my car looking in the rearview mirror the entire time, and I won't get very far, right? That's kind of what that's like. Okay, so we just keep going, and so we had that failure. So maybe you take a hit right here. Maybe you were long here and you just held it. Ah, crap. Okay, we're just breaking down here. I'm just going to kind of get out, and then you kind of get back, and you're not positive, you're not negative, you're just kind of about where you got in. But what do? We have a push up that happened while we were in that short, and we draw another line. So it doesn't matter if you're in a trade or waiting for a trade. We mark what the market's doing. So we draw a line here, this way, right? Because, and this could go up, and if it does, fine, that's fantastic. What's going to happen? I'm going to reverse my position up here, or here, or here. It doesn't matter. You got three highs to break through. Now I'm long, right? And maybe you take a 1 point hit on that. But if we're long here, which didn't happen, but if we were, I guarantee you we would have run up pretty hard. Okay, that didn't happen, and that's fine because we just trade what the market's doing. So we draw a line here. Why? Because we want to watch for price to break this low. So I either am still in this one for this short here, or I'm waiting for this one. And this is what's nice about when you're in trades, is you can kind of track them this way. So let's just say I was in this short, okay? This is not a lot of fun to sit through when you're not really positive and you're not really down. It's just not going. But hey, that's part of the deal. So then we have a breakdown. Okay, this is awesome. Okay, now I'm out. Yes, we dropped below that, but now I want to be out because look, we could test this, and it did for about a point or so from the lower price level here, maybe even just 3 ticks. What was that? No, actually, that was over a point. Either way, it doesn't really matter. We have this little push up. It attempted to, so I got, like, what was that? Maybe, looks like about 4 points actually off of that little trade right there. And then whatever I got on these, right? And then I'm kind of doing the same thing. I want to be short below here. Okay, we're coming back. Look at this low, and then look at this low. So if I'm short and we come back up here, I want to have this low be broken. Well, it didn't happen. We broke through this high, which is another line you would have drawn through here. Okay, reverse. Now I'm long. And this is just kind of gets a little bit, again, glowbacks, not a lot's happening. But we just repeat. And it's the same thing all dang day long. And then at some point, you'll get this run. So I want to, let's test it. Okay, now I'm short. And we're just kind of sideways here. So there's not a lot of really pretty highs and lows. We just kind of have this big, fat, long channel. We just need to break all of this. We need to go one way or the other. Maybe I tried this one, okay. I'm going to try this, okay. And I'm short now. See, traders are afraid to lose money a lot of times, and you should welcome the losing trades. Not because we want losing trades, but because they're going to happen. Whether that be because I clicked sell instead of buy, made a mistake that way, or it's because I interpreted it wrong, or it's because it just didn't work out. We traded a breakout and it just reversed. Fine. Go for the next one. Go for the next trade. And then you'll get into runs like this where we break, kind of sit here. Okay, we're breaking these lows here. We've got this big wick. And see, remember, this is just kind of a big fat channel. So we've got this low. We obviously broke these ones from this wick here, but we've got this. This is the next dominant one that we really have to get past. Okay, so that we watch for that. So we're in short, and hopefully you pulled a lot of that out. And then again, it's just the same repetitive process. We find the bounces. Okay, so I draw a line here, and so why? Well, because I want to watch a breakdown right here. Now our breakout is all the way up here, so that's pretty significant. You technically could probably draw one here because we did have a 5-minute period where we had a positive candle. Maybe even here too. That's a little bit. I prefer to have a series of candle, at least 2, like on a 5-minute chart. It just makes things easier. Again, as I mentioned in the beginning, we want to create a game that we can easily win. And everything I just walked you through is exactly what these traders that had emailed me that pulled out that money in a single day. And it's just, you just do this over and over and over again. And then we have this our edge in this process is the key turns. Now, is this beautiful? Not really, but it really helps us gauge a position. I mean, I could go back to, let's see, like a day like this, and say, look at that. That was awesome. King of the world. I'm testing all these. I'm short on all these. I'm sharing all the breakdowns. I mean, this day you're up like 100 grand, right? I'm just throwing a number out there. But it worked out beautifully like that. We fast forward to where we were just at, and we have to sift through this crap. But see, that's the market. The market does that. Okay, so we could go through the whole day, but I would just be repeating myself, and this video is already long. But that's what we do. That's one of the simplest ways to get in the market, make money. You have this tool that gives you a bias. We know to be short below it, long above it, and what we can do in real time is do exactly what I just walked you through, and like I've done in the other videos. And so if you go open up the market, Tuesday, the 28th of January, 2020, do it. Go through that exercise. We need some initial movement, like we had. Here's the start of Globex, and we need something. We need something to go off of. Okay, we've established a high and low. We've got a nice little bounce here. Okay, so like basically, if you're going to use this technique, if you're not going to go long or short off or below the key turns, and you want something a little bit more secure, a little bit more solid that you can go off of, you need to be a little bit patient and wait for this. So you would have been able to track this at 25. So 25 minutes into Globex, that would be where you can establish kind of a base. And then you do exactly what I walked you through moving forward. And if there's ever a period where you're just not sure what's happening, just stay out, sit back, observe what the market's doing. You already have your prior lines in that you've drawn, so you already have a solid base of prices to track. But if it's a little bit, if you were sitting here during this time, you didn't quite know what to do, just take a step back. Either come back later or watch it and just observe. There's no reason that you just have to get into the market. I mean, I can't tell you how many days where the market just took off, where it tanked, where I was gone. Maybe I was at one of my kids' school plays, or, traveling or whatever, and I missed, a 50-point drop that day or a 50-point run that day or whatever. I didn't miss anything. The markets are always going to move. So don't feel like you have to be in every single little trade that happens. Just follow the process. It's very simple. There's really not a lot of rules to it, other than we want to have the bias of being short below and long above, and just follow that process, and it really makes things a lot less complicated, because you're not looking at a trillion different indicators that are, well, is this turning, is this crossing, is this, what is this doing? And you just keep it simple. So anyways, I wanted to lastly, so two things real quick. So one, again, to reiterate, because I had several questions, where do I get in? Okay, you get in you either trade the price, the key turns price. The best example was, this day, just as an example, short below. So you're going to basically short below this price, go long above it. Okay, I'm reversing. So you either do that, and of course, when we're running above it, you're already long because you know to be long above it, right? Or you do what we just walked through. And those are the two simplest ways to uncomplicate trading. And I like the 5-minute chart because it usually gives you enough time. If we're having candles like this, the market's really pushing, and you're probably already tracking highs anyways to break through, and it's okay. Maybe you missed that. Maybe you had some other thing that you were using, like, I don't know, prediction points, or I don't know what, that where you got long. But remember, we're not trying to buy the low and sell the high and sell the high and buy the low. We're trying to make money. And the markets are almost always going to move. And what this strategy I just laid out for you, it enables you to get in on movement. Okay, so those are the two ways to enter: breakouts or at the line. And it's very simple. There's no guessing. You know exactly where to get in. Okay. And then the last thing is today is, well, I guess technically now it's Tuesday the 28th because it's early in the morning. We've got 4 days before I'm wrapping this up. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just go to the website. There's a link, letter from the founder. You can read what's going on with all this. But you can get these for super cheap, and they're obviously incredibly useful, and now's the time to do it. So get it while they're available, and if you have questions, you can just, contact me. Be happy to answer your questions. But what are we going to do Tuesday, tomorrow? We're going to do exactly what I just showed you. In fact, if we just go there real quick, I mean, do I even need to walk through this? I mean, this is just, here's your first breakout right here. Boom. Had an attempt here, lows here, breakdown, breakout. I mean, it's just beautiful. I would be curious to know, those of you that are doing this, how much you're up. Because I know you're not down. I'd be curious to know how much you're up already, if you've been trading Globex, how much you're up. Because we got, what's that, 2 ticks away from our key turns level. Dang it. Sorry guys, I try to be accurate. That's pretty good though. We've had our high tick of the 63.75, and then we've peaked out at that bottom 38.75. 25 points of movement. I would be curious to know how much you guys are ripping out of this thing, because if you just followed what I just walked you through, you should be way up. Like I don't even know how much. Because if you're buying highs and you're buying breakouts, this thing ran 25 points. There's a couple small little breakdowns you could have got into, probably a couple here that you may not have made money on, but hey, remember, embrace the losses. It's part of the deal. You just go for the next one. Breakout here, okay, you make that back times 10. So anyways, that's enough for this training. I hope this helps. Prove me wrong. Prove to me that this doesn't work. I know it does. And I've got people that didn't even have this tool. They took the price, they stuck it on the chart. In fact, if you don't have this, here, I'll show you all of them. For Tuesday, January 28th, 2020, here are the 3 key turns prices. And by the way, those of you, I just released this. I will have a brand new video for these 3 prices. I don't know, hopefully Tuesday. 64 and a quarter. So those of you that don't have this, put these on your chart. 64 and a quarter, 32, 31 and a quarter, and 32, 14.5. And those are the prices we're going to use for Tuesday, January 28th, 2020, and they've already been money. We know that what do we call this? We call this overextension. And so all we do is we look for breakouts to go in that direction. Sure, we missed it by a couple ticks, but it doesn't matter because we got probably a majority of this, a lot of this. And you probably entered many times. So, and now we have this breakdown. So boom, boom, we draw another line right here. Anyways, I mean, it's fun stuff. You just do it over and over and over. You can do this all day long. So anyways, that's it. I keep rambling on here, but grab it while it's available. Link in the description. Questions, send them to me. 4 days left. Happy New Year. Make a killing this year. There's no reason that at the end of the week, the month, the year, you shouldn't be up a crap load of money. There's no reason at all. There's so much movement in these markets. You don't have to trade the ES. I love the ES because it's so liquid. You can trade a lot of contracts on it. But you can trade whatever you want. Do the same thing on other markets. So that's a wrap till the next video. I'll try to get it a couple more out before the 31st, and we'll see you in the next one.